Remember these?
I try hard not to.
1996, we bought these in Puerto Vallarta. You wore a red dress.
Los Cabos. And the dress was blue.
At least I got the year right. We went dancing in these.
Yeah, that's tequila for you. Right. Boxes are for charity, bags are for recycling, so take your pick.
You can't give these to charity.
No, you're right. No one's that desperate. Recycling it is, then.
Well, have you no heart, woman? These are part of our history, our memories.
These are $10 sombreros.
Exactly. They weren't cheap. Now, come on, put this on. Do your Clint.
I'm not doing my Clint.
Come on, do your Clint. You know you want to.
In this world, there's two kinds of people, my friend. Those with loaded guns and those who dig. You dig.
They're wearing sombreros.
You can see why they made him sergeant.
Why are you here on a Saturday?
Harriet Farmer woke up.
Check. Check.
Yes!
Only the first round, Alan. Arthur, we're in the middle of a tournament.
The hospital's been on the phone.
Why doesn't this case ring much of a bell?
Look at the date. May last year, you had the forensics conference.
Ah, yes. Oh, the May Queen. So go on then, remind me.
Harriet Farmer found unconscious in the woods near her house on the night of the Bishopwood Festival.
It's a nasty head wound.
Nasty enough to have put her in a coma for the past 12 months.
Who found her?
Her dad, David Farmer. He went looking for her after he found a letter.
What kind of letter?
Harriet was running away with a lad from the village, Finn Robson.
An elopement. How romantic.
There's nothing romantic about Robson. We reckon the head wound's his doing.
Did he say why he assaulted her?
No, he disappeared before we got a chance to talk to him.
So it might not be his doing.
Then why run away?
She's not ready for interviews yet.
It's really just a few questions.
She won't be able to answer them.
Well, she's awake, isn't she?
From a prolonged vegetative state, aside from her poor physical health, her cognitive and recall abilities have been diminished. Right now, I don't know what damage the past year has done, so... David.
Harriet.
Yes, excuse me. David, we're still running tests.
Harriet. Harriet, it's me. It's me.
Dad.
Oh, you're back. Sergeant Jones.
Mr. Farmer. How are you, Harriet?
This is Sergeant Jones and,
DCI Barnaby.
they're police officers and they've been working on your case.
We'd like to talk to you about what happened. if you feel up to it.
It's all right, sweetheart. It's all right.
Can you tell us anything about the night you received your injury? You'd gone to the woods, remember?
Why would I go to the woods?
You'd arranged to meet Finn?
Harriet.
Okay, that's it. No more. You have to leave. Now.
Sweetheart.
Okay,
Sweetheart. Harriet. You're right.
Beaten by a child. Must be galling.
His mother distracted me.
Losing your edge, I suppose.
There's nothing wrong with my edge, Sannington, as you'll find out.
Fancy your chances, do you?
There's still 7 rounds to go.
You can't win 7 on the trot, Alan. Not with your end game.
Robson's a good scalp to take. But remember, it's Stannington we want.
You think Harriet's okay?
There's no time to get distracted, Jamie.
Sorry.
Remember our motto?
Grandmaster or nothing.
That's right. GM or nothing.
Line your backs, please. Going through. Come on. Some of us are working. Oh, give me strength. I know they bring the money in, but you want to wear them out there. Talk about boring for England. You're going on about prawn structures and opening gambits. You think they'd have something else to talk about, wouldn't you? Oh, well. Good news about Harriet. She's awake. David got a phone call from the hospital. I know. Surprised me. I'd written the kid off. So who's this lot for, then?
Eh? Oh, Mr. Barton. Hospital discharged him. He's got no family.
So it's down to us to feed him?
Would you rather he starved?
Well, rather him than us, love.
It's our duty to help the old and the vulnerable, Arthur.
Yeah, well, that's fine, but half the village is old and vulnerable. It all adds up.
So, I should just abandon him. Leave him to rot on his own.
Oh, Edward. Edward, have you got a minute?
I'm late.
I just wondered if you had a chance to look at the proposal.
I told you, I'm not interested.
But it's a great deal, Edward.
Then you should have little trouble finding another investor.
Well, did you win?
I always win.
Did you speak with Arthur?
We had a conversation.
And?
And I told him to get stuffed.
Are you sure we can't help him?
Shoes off.
It's just... he's such a good egg.
Is this all the post that came?
What?
The post. Is this it?
Oh, no. A letter. Recorded delivery. Had to sign for it. One of those, little electronic things. You scribble your name with a plastic pen and up it comes on the screen. It's ingenious.
Where is it?
The courier took it. I expect he needed it for his other deliveries.
Where's the letter, Aunt Vivian?
Oh, yes. Must be important.
Just some research. I have to go out.
Oh, right. Okay.
That means it's time for you to go back to your part of the house.
Of course. Sorry.
Bishopwood Fair. This was shot the day Harriet was found in the woods.
What's with all the chess?
Bishopwood's claim to fame.
Chess champion was born there ages ago.
Scraping the barrel, aren't they?
It was a pretty lucrative barrel. They make a lot of money from the tournament. There's Harriet. That's Finn Robson.
Oh, they make a lovely couple.
Doubt David Farmer would agree with you.
Before they got together, Finn was a bit of a ladies' man.
Oh. Farmer feared for Harriet's virtue.
Tried to ban her from seeing Finn, hence their decision to elope.
My dad disapproved of John when he first met him.
Until I won him over with my charm.
He took him to the pub and got the poor man drunk.
Very low alcohol tolerance, bless him.
Who's Harriet talking to there?
Oh, that's Wendy Robson, Finn's mum.
It looks a little heated.
Wendy Robson mentions them having a conversation in her statement. She said she congratulated Harriet on being crowned May Queen.
It doesn't look like congratulations.
Robson's moved here in the 90s when Alan Robson hit it big.
What's his line?
Computers. He developed a chess game called Knight to King. Made millions.
Clever man, then.
More like a geek.
And the geek shall inherit the earth.
Can I help you?
Mrs. Robson, it's D.S. Jones.
Have you found him?
No, but there's been a development.
And she can't remember anything?
It may be some time before Harriet fully regains her memory. You had a conversation with Harriet on the day of the festival. Can you tell us what it was about?
I don't recall. Probably nothing.
Did you know Harriet well?
No, not really. She was just another one of Finn's girlfriends.
More than just a girlfriend, they were running away together.
We only have her word on that.
Her word and the letter.
Oh, yes. Famous letter.
Why would you doubt the letter?
Harriet wouldn't be the first to misinterpret his intentions. Oh, the police came to tell us that the Harriet girl is awake.
I know.
Apparently she has amnesia.
It's temporary, we hope.
So, while we wait for her memory to miraculously return, you're still no closer to finding my son.
Are you sure he wants to be found?
Finn wasn't responsible for what happened to that girl.
He was the last person to see her.
You don't know that. You don't know who was in those woods. She could have been attacked by anyone.
Like who?
I don't know. But whatever happened out there, my son is as much a victim as Harriet Farmer.
Who do we have on the books who knows how to lip read?
There's Faye Bell from the deaf school.
I had a look at the tape. I want to know what Wendy said to Harriet.
You coming back? Coward! Hey! Come on! Show yourself!
Victim's name is Edward Stannington. Rambler. Found him this morning.
Where is our Rambler?
Still throwing up?
Lovely. So, what can you tell us?
Deep penetrating blow between the shoulder blades. Sometime last night, no sign of the weapon.
What was he doing here?
Well, it's a popular spot for walkers.
Nobody goes walking in those shoes. What do we know about him?
He's a writer, apparently. Bishopwood born and bred. Got a place on the green.
Married?
Single. Lives with his aunt.
This is recent.
There's fresh tyre tracks at the entrance as well, heading for the road.
Someone in a hurry.
You might want to have a look at this. Found it in the victim's mouth.
Chess notation. When did you last see your nephew?
Yesterday. He came home in the afternoon and then left again.
Did he say where he was going?
Edward rarely told me anything. He just read his letter and left.
What letter was this?
Research for his book. Recorded delivery. It must have been important.
What was this book he was working on?
A biography on Vladimir Kostlov. He was a chess player in the 80s.
Could we see your nephew's office?
Oh, I shouldn't think so. Edward doesn't like me in the main house unless he's around. It gets a bit sticky.
But he's not here anymore, is he?
No. No, I don't suppose he is. I forget. This is all mine now.
Every cloud?
Quite. It'll take some getting used to.
What about your nephew's friends, acquaintances?
Oh, he didn't have any of those.
Bit of a loner, was he?
No, he just wasn't very likable.
Was your nephew a member of the Chess Society?
He was president. We are descendants of Reverend Stannington.
Reverend Stannington?
He was our great-grandfather. Chess world champion, 1893 to 1894.
Ah, Bishopwood's claim to fame.
Edward loved the society, even if the other members didn't love him. He liked to win, you see, and then he liked to brag about it. A lot.
Do you, recognise this?
Sorry, don't speak chess.
Do you own a car, Miss Stannington?
I did, before Edward confiscated it, after the incident.
The incident?
At the petrol station. The pumps went green, should have gone black. Edward was furious.
She seems a bit chipper.
She's got a lot to be chipper about. The woman's finally free.
He'll have to forfeit.
Still has 5 minutes. Well, DC, I don't want to be. Is there a problem?
We're here about Mr. Stannington. He was found dead this morning. Not a popular man, I gather.
Edward was very talented. He liked to tease. I mean, most people shrugged it off.
Most people?
Well, some took it personally.
Like who?
Alan Robson. He was runner-up to Edward 6 years in a row.
Did he ever threaten Stannington?
Not physically. It was just verbal spats.
Have you ever seen this before?
It looks like the opening of a game. Yes, white opens with e4 and black counters with the Sicilian defense.
Is that unusual?
No, it's very common. Lots of players use a variation of it. Mr. Farmer, whose car is this?
A silly prang. A van ran into me when I was pulling out on Corton High Street.
And the van driver's name?
I don't know. He drove away.
So he left the scene of an accident?
Obviously.
Corton High Street has CCTV, doesn't it, Detective Sergeant Jones?
Full colour.
Well, there should be no problem identifying this mystery van, then.
Work of a moment, sir.
We're missing practice time, Jamie. You go home and get started.
I don't want to go home on my own.
I'll be there soon.
Shall we start again?
I didn't kill Edward.
But you did meet him last night.
We had some things to discuss.
Can I ask what they were?
Have you any idea how hard it is to get to the top of this game?
Not really, no.
It's week after week. Tournament after tournament. Building up your ELO rating in poxy competitions like this. If you want the big game, you need to know people.
And Stannington was one of those people.
His name alone could fast-track Jamie.
So you wanted him to sponsor your son?
I wanted him to live up to his responsibilities. Where do you think Jamie gets his talent from? Certainly not from me. It was a short, sordid affair, and the only good thing to come out of it was Jamie.
Does Jamie know?
No. And I wanted to stay that way.
So did Stannington agree to help?
What? I run the risk of being eclipsed by his son.
That must have made you angry.
I was furious. He said he cared more for his car than for Jamie.
So you rammed him?
Yes. But I assure you, he was very much alive when I drove away.
Did you see anyone else around?
No. I barely glanced back.
Well, at least we know what Stannington was doing at the car park.
So our murderer followed him there?
Well, not necessarily. Could have been an opportunistic killing.
No, the chest notation proves it was premeditated. He was followed. Is it weird that both David Farmer and Alan Robson knew Stannington?
You looking for a link to Harriet?
It's certainly a coincidence.
Well, until we have a definite connection, that's all it is.
So, phone, email, internet, check it all. Find out who Stannington's been in contact with recently. And do some background on Vivian. Nobody forgets that they're inheriting, no matter how scatty they are.
I was staring at it, Mr. Barton. I need to eat it while it's hot. I'll be back for the dishes later.
And this was the parade, after you were crowned.
Look funny.
You look beautiful. Do you remember anything?
Nothing. Someone to see you, David.
I won't be long.
Hello, Harriet. You ready for your physio?
Mm-hmm.
Caroline.
I got your text. How is she?
Her memory's a bit foggy, but I'm sorry, I should have called you in person. It's been a bit hectic.
David, you don't need to apologise.
You've been a rock this last year, a real help to me. Look, why don't you come for dinner tomorrow at the cottage? I want to thank you for everything.
Okay.
Good.
Great.
I'll see you.
Leave me alone!
And the loft is finally finished.
Is that my university box?
Yep, and another box of Sykes' old toys, and they're both out of here today.
I'll need to go through that.
Sure, be my guest.
It'll have to be tonight. I've got to run.
Oh, John, come on. I want them to... Don't even think. Sykes!
Happy anniversary.
Oh, they're lovely, thank you. Sorry, I didn't manage to get you anything.
Don't worry, I've got it all sorted. I booked us a table tonight at the Oaks.
Tonight?
Yeah, it's been ages since we went out.
Victim died of a massive hemorrhage caused by a penetrating blow to the subclavian artery.
Any advance on the murder weapon?
Interesting. The upper part of the entry wound is smooth and clean, but the lower part suggests that the weapon had a serrated edge.
Like a hunting knife?
Too wide for a knife. Possibly a tool of some kind. The degree of taper suggests long and thin.
That narrows it down.
We found some fragments in the wound. The lab will possibly be able to give us some idea of composition.
Anything else you can tell me?
Oh, we've got a new coffee machine.
Nothing on Vivian's background check. Stannington's phone records and email drew a blank.
I hope there's a but coming.
But his recent internet history makes for some interesting reading.
Is it going to make me blush?
He's been researching Black King Productions.
Alan Robson's company.
Stannington's been reading everything. Company profiles, old interviews, filed accounts. This is the team behind Night to King. That letter Stannington received the day he was killed. Courier company said it was sent from London, from a Kevin Pearson.
And he is?
Back row, fourth from left. We're trying to contact him.
He worked for Robson. What about Night to King?
What about it?
Well, Stannington was researching it before he died. Any thoughts?
Maybe he wanted to emulate my success.
Or maybe he was looking for dirt.
There's none to find.
Would Kevin Pearson agree?
Haven't heard that name for a while.
He and Stannington were in contact.
Well, that figures.
Figures how?
Pearson was a coder on the original game. Not a very good one. He made a mistake which set us back months.
That must have been frustrating.
Not as frustrating as the fuss he made when we tried to sack him.
Ah, a disgruntled employee, then?
A pest.
Where was this picture taken?
Pyrenees. 2 years ago. I had an epiphany.
And what prompted this epiphany?
Fatherhood. I wanted to set an example for Finn. I taught him that the world is there to be conquered.
And yet he chose to run away.
Is there anything else?
No, that's all. For now.
Dr. Parr, a friend of yours?
A friend of my wife's.
It just goes on and on, relentless. It will stop, I promise. I just thought when she woke up, we would get some answers. And you will. Eventually. In the meantime, I'm just left thinking the worst. Horrible thoughts. You mustn't torture yourself. But what if something has happened to him? What if he is dead? Wendy, you have to be strong. Maybe I need a little help. We've discussed this. Oh, please. You're the only one who understands what I'm going through. Thank you.
Still looking for the Harriet link?
Stannington was killed on the same day that Harriet woke up. There has to be a connection. We need to track down Pearson and find out what he told Stannington. And see if you can get the lab to hurry along.
Sir?
Tape tool with a serrated edge. Didn't you look at the Pyrenean photo? Ah.
He might have been a stingy git, but your Everett kept a great cellar.
I can't drink his burgundy.
Not his burgundy, your burgundy. Cheers, Edward.
Cheers, Edward.
Oh, this takes me back. May Day Festival, 1971. You were the White Queen. And what a beauty you were. I couldn't take my eyes off you all day long.
Or your hands.
Hey, when you think what could have been, eh?
Till the Ice Queen got her claws into you.
Caroline's quite a wild woman when you get to know her.
She's a cold
Oh, let's not do that again. You know, if I had my time again, we'd be together.
Really?
Maybe we can have something else. Something better. We could be. Business partners. Now, Everett, God bless him, couldn't see the big picture. But you...
How about this one?
Jamie from the farm.
Good. What about this handsome devil?
Very funny, Dad.
Yeah. Or... Look, it's all coming back now.
That's good to hear. Harriet needs to rest now. I'm fine.
There's no arguing with Dr. Parr.
Okay.
She's making really good progress.
Yes, but we mustn't rush her.
No, of course. Of course.
Is everything all right?
Soup's a little cold.
I'll get them to heat it up for you.
There's no need.
It's not a problem.
Arthur, sit down.
Can't seem to do much right these days.
Let's just eat and go.
We can't just go. I paid good money for this. I've asked them to do as a cake. Caroline!
I thought you were going through it.
I got a bit distracted.
What is all this?
University stuff. Lecture notes, textbooks, and old essays.
The Birth of Grief, Memory and Loss in Human Evolution by John Barnaby, 1988, Durham University.
You should read that one, if ever you're grieving.
The only thing I'm grieving for is a clear love.
But that's what it's about. The importance of hanging on to things. How objects connect us to emotions.
It's hard to get emotional about essays.
Oh, not just essays. Look what else I found. Some of your old love poems.
These are awful.
Oh, don't be so hard on yourself.
I'm not. I didn't write them.
What?
Signed, your ever constant, Jenny.
Ah, now, that reminds me. I did mean to get rid of those. I'm keeping the essays, though.
It's David Farmer. We had an anonymous call this morning.
We're tracing it
as we speak.
Chess killer strikes again.
Different code this time.
Different weapon, too. Strangulation by ligature. Furrows are wide, no braiding or patterns, so we can rule out natural fibres.
Could be climbing rope. Shall I be mum?
By all means.
He was obviously expecting someone. Table for two, soft lighting, music. Stick my neck out, say it's a woman.
Agreed.
There's a cheese souffle in the oven. It's a tricky dish. That and the tablecloth says he was out to impress. So, either a new girlfriend or a potential one.
Could be an old girlfriend, but a special occasion.
Music choice says no. I mean, this is a safe bet. It says I'm romantic, but I'm not going to get all Barry White.
Tenuous, but go on.
New shirt. He was going to put this on before she arrived.
But the killer turned up first.
Boss!
Thanks. He had a jeweller's receipt in his wallet for a cross he bought yesterday.
A gift for the lovely lady?
Hey, bag this.
Sir?
Maybe the killer attacked him when he went out to the car to get it.
So, questions?
Who's the mystery woman? Did she show up? Did she kill him?
And what's with the cryptic notes?
Does the killer like playing games?
But there are no games here. These killings are quick and brutal. This doesn't fit with that style of murder. It's like a distraction.
From what?
The real reason why all this is happening. Harriet Farmer.
We still don't have a link, sir.
Her dead father says we do.
You seemed so happy yesterday. Standing where you are. In that stupid old cardigan of his. I don't feel anything. Why is that?
Shock. When you lose someone, it can take time for it to sink in.
What do I do when it does?
Whatever you need to. Grieving's a personal thing. You have to let the process take its course.
And then just move on. Is that it?
We never forget. We hold our loved ones in our memories.
I want to go home.
I don't think that's a good idea.
I want to be near Dad.
That was nicely handled.
Thank you.
I wish he wasn't going home, though.
You don't think she's ready?
Physically, yes. Emotionally.
Could the hospital help her?
I'll see what we can do.
Can't be easy for you treating Harriet and being friends with Wendy Robson.
It's not ideal, but what can you do? I was Wendy's friend before I was Harriet's doctor.
What are your thoughts on Wendy?
I'm grateful to her. She was very good to me when I first moved here. Now that she's having a bad time, I just want to repay her kindness.
Dr. Parr? Do you know this woman?
Her husband owns the hotel. She often visited Harriet with David.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Lost the game is all.
To a Class D player. It's not good enough, Jamie.
It's just that you...
What? It's just what?
Nothing. I'll win the next round.
Too right you will.
How would you describe your relationship with David Farmer?
Well, David was a friend in need, so I provided comfort.
And what form did this comfort take?
A few times I'd go with him to visit Harriet.
Well, more than a few times. It was almost every week in the past year.
David didn't like to visit her alone, so he'd asked me to accompany him.
Did Mr. Farmer invite you to dinner at his cottage last night?
He may have suggested dinner, yes.
And did you go?
No. I had something else on.
Can I ask what that was?
6 years and counting. Our anniversary. Caroline and I went to the Oaks. It weren't half bad, wasn't it, love?
Sorry.
Arthur Potts, Caroline's husband.
DCI Barnaby.
So what's this about, love?
David Farmer's dead.
What? That's awful. Poor David. But Caroline's been looking after David for the last year, what with the coma and that.
So I hear.
My wife's a saint. She's always looking after somebody. She never stops.
And what did you do after dinner?
Well, we came back here for a nightcap and then early night, you know what I mean?
Sorry.
That was the chest buffs. Excuse me.
Mr. Barton?
You wanted to talk to him? What happened to him?
Not here. I want your assurance that this is off the record.
I'm not a journalist, Miss Sannington.
I should have come to you sooner. I expect I'm an accessory now. Go to prison, banged up, in the neck.
Why don't you just tell me what you know, and we'll take it from there.
I know who killed Marion Green.
Okay. Who's Marion Green?
She used to live in the village until she came calling.
Who came calling?
Caroline Potts. So Marion broke a hip, you see. Was bedbound for a week. Potts turns up with a chicken korma. 2 days later, well, Marion's dead.
Murdered by a chicken korma?
A poisoned chicken korma. And to top it all, Charlie went missing.
Who's Charlie?
Marion's cat.
Of course it is.
I should have said something sooner, but Arthur said not to. He said it was just my imagination. I usually listen to Arthur, but lately, I've seen a rather different side of him. And then this poor Mr. Barton.
What about Mr. Barton?
This time it was the goulash.
Yes, the names are Marion Green and Jack Barton. Quick as you can, yeah? Thanks.
David Farmer's mystery woman, Caroline Potts. She says that Farmer invited her to his cottage for dinner last night, but she didn't go. She's holding out, though. I want her story.
According to Vivian Stannington, she's the angel of death.
What?
She uses her meals on wheels to poison the village old folk, apparently.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But she gave me a couple of names. I'm waiting for the medical files.
Let's not wait. Maybe it's best to go to the hotel and bring her in now.
Okay.
Oh. Can I help you?
I've arrived around 5. I'm here to look at a type.
Ah, you're the lip reader.
Yeah. Now, who do I talk to about getting paid for this?
It makes sense. I never thought that Farmer would be your type, but there you go.
Too much milk.
You could at least admit it. I mean, I deserve that. I lied to the police for you.
Wasn't necessary.
So where did you go last night?
Just get on with the lunch round.
Screw the lunches.
People are waiting.
Well, they'll have to get used to waiting, because we're sunk. The bank's called a loan and the hotel's finished. All this feeding into 5,000, it's over! Now! You don't care, do you? I knew you were a cold fish, but...
Pathetic little man. You know nothing about me.
I can't work out what the younger one is saying, but the older one... Who do you think you are? You're nothing but a... See, the slug or slag?
Probably the latter.
The younger one responds, and then it's... love. What do you know about love? Wherever you think you're going, you won't get very far. He's my son, made for better things.
She knew they were eloping.
So I knew. What of it?
How did you know?
Finn. He came to see me 2 days before. Farmer wouldn't let him see Harriet, so he said they were leaving.
And what was your reaction?
Told him it was ridiculous. I mean, eloping in this day and age.
So then you moved on to Harriet?
No reasoning with her. Too caught up in the romance of it all.
Did you tell your husband about it? Mrs. Robson, did your husband know that Finn was leaving with Harriet?
He went after Finn. I waited. 2 hours later, he came back and he said he couldn't find it. You sure you want to do this? I'll put this in your room.
Mr. Potts! I'll be with you in a minute!
You all right? Charlie, I presume.
She took a summer job. A great little grafter. A bit uptight like, but not as bad as she is now. I thought we'd make a great team, you know, build up the hotel. I mean, the Meals on Wheels thing, that didn't start till a couple of months after we got married. And soon she was feeding half the village, you know. I mean, business was slow and I was losing money. I say that charity begins at home, huh? What's the point of feeding the world if you can't feed yourself?
What about the cat, Mr. Potts?
About 6 months ago, the fridge gave up the ghost at last. I mean, I thought it was such a waste. And then Caroline asked for some chicken.
And you gave her dodgy stuff?
It wasn't rancid, just a bit on the turn. I didn't think it'd do any harm.
But then Marion Green died.
Yeah, and I panicked. I knew Caroline still had a key, so I went round to the house.
And that's where you found Charlie?
Yep. Laid at the side of a bowl of half-eaten chicken. I knew then I had to do something.
Like wrap him in a plastic bag, take him home and dump him in the freezer?
Yeah, I meant to get rid of him, but he weren't doing any harm in there, was he?
Is there anything else you'd like to tell us, Mr. Potts?
Yeah. Last night, Caroline walked out halfway through dinner.
And where did she go?
Please. Please stop this, please. Get up and walk. What are you doing, Mr. Reed? Because it's your fault. Now, come on! Tell me where he is. Who? Finn. This is where you arranged to meet. Then he disappeared. What happened? I can't remember. Yes, you can. It's somewhere in that airy little head of yours. Oh, a year I waited for you to wake up, sitting in that awful hospital with your dad boring on. And all for him. All to find out what happened to my beautiful Finn. And he was mine before you stole him off me. So you're going to tell me what happened. Come here! Come here!
I can't do an autopsy on Charlie because he's frozen and he's a cat. But I can tell you that Barton had a massive heart attack and Marion died of breathing complications. Neither of them showed any sign of food poisoning.
So the only thing that Arthur Potts might be guilty of is poisoning a cat. Where are we on Farmer?
We traced the anonymous call to Caroline Potts's mobile.
Oh, that puts her at the cottage. Yes.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Look at me. I'm just going to shine a light in your eyes.
I can't believe Finn would be with someone.
Well?
We've got her.
I wanted the missions. I wanted to do God's work in Africa. And it was only when I came here that I realised I didn't have to travel halfway around the world to do his work. Bishopwood was full of people who needed me.
How did you meet Finn?
The van broke down one day, miles from home. Rain pouring down. He appeared from nowhere. Like an angel. Such a beautiful boy. When he smiled, the rain stopped. Later, when we were laying in the van together, I knew God had planned it.
But God took Finn away from you.
No. Someone wicked did that.
Caroline, we know you were serving at the hotel when Stannington was killed, but you were at David Farmer's cottage last night.
Poor man was dead when I got there. There's nothing I could do.
You could have stayed with him. Leaving him like that, lying out there in the cold. Not exactly what I'd call Christian.
But he was no use to me anymore. I only went to find out about Finn. This has always been about Finn.
Sir? Robson came home. We've got him waiting upstairs for you. What do you think made her flip out?
She's lost the love of her life and she's not been allowed to mourn him. Not publicly, anyway.
And modern psychology says that's a bad thing, right?
There's nothing modern about it. We've been expressing grief since we climbed down from the trees. Let's talk about the night Finn disappeared. Were you angry when your wife told you that he was leaving with Harriet?
Was I angry? Now, let me see. My son was throwing away his future. Everything I'd built for her, for some simpering village girl.
We'll take that as a yes, then.
Please do.
So you left the house, got into your car, and went to try and stop him?
That was the plan, yes. Until I had a change of heart.
Another epiphany?
I decided Finn was his own man. If he wanted to go, I had no right to try and stop him. So I turned round.
That was very understanding of you.
It was the worst decision I've ever made. I wish I'd gone back. I wish I'd found him, thrown him in a car and dragged him home. If you think I would do anything to harm my son, you really don't know the man you're dealing with.
We'll need to talk to you again.
If you must.
Mr. Robson. Do you know this game?
I'd recognize it anywhere.
Both codes were found at the crime scenes. This one with Stannington, this one was found with Farmer.
6 months before we launched Knight to King, we brought Wendy on board to manage the marketing. She suggested an internet tournament. The idea being that we invited online gamers to play an ex-world champion.
This ex-world champion, it wouldn't be Vladimir Kozlov, would it?
Kozlov cost us a fortune. But worth every penny. The amount of interest we got was staggering. Anyway, the tournament started, and that's when Silverfish popped up.
Who's Silverfish?
Well, that's what he called himself. He came from nowhere. Met Kozlov in the final, and beat him. And I mean, thrashed him.
And that's the full transcript?
That's it.
So did you find out who this Silverfish was?
Took us a while, but turned out to be one of our own programmers.
Was it Kevin Pearson?
Pearson could barely play drafts. No. It's the one next to him. His name was Jason Winters.
And where will we find Mr. Winters?
You won't. He killed himself a month after this was taken.
Okay, so Jason Winters. Computer genius by all accounts, but genius comes at a price. Had a history of depression. Died of a barbiturate overdose in Cambridge in 1993.
Any family, friends, partners?
Spent most of his life in London care facilities. Chaotic family background, mother with children from several fathers. His old social worker is sending over the file.
So, we've got a killer referencing an obscure chess game played by a dead code writer.
With no links to the area apart from Alan Robson.
Robson's too smart to use weapons we could trace to him, and I don't buy in hurting Harriet.
So he's been set up? Why?
This has always been about Finn.
Sir?
Something Caroline Potts said. This has always been about Finn. We've been focusing on the link to Harriet, but maybe she was just collateral damage. Maybe Finn was the target. We need to know what happened in the woods.
You do realise the risk you're taking?
I appreciate it's unorthodox.
Not to mention scientifically suspect.
There are precedents for this kind of recall therapy. I think this could help Harriet.
But taking her into the woods, forcing her to remember, it could do untold damage.
I'll do it. Ready when you are.
I want you to try to go back to the night you were meeting Finn. Try to remember. You were alone. It was dark. Finn was coming. Try to let it come.
can't. It's just blank.
Don't try too hard.
It's no use. Wait. I can see something. I'm frightened. It's Finn. He came.
That's good. Just keep a hold of it.
Someone else is here.
Who's there, Harriet?
You hurt him! Mr. Moving!
Who is it, Harriet?
See me. Harriet? Harriet!
Check. Checkmate.
This is outrageous. What's Jamie got to do with Finn?
Well, that's what we're hoping to find out, Miss Carr.
We found this at the house. It's Jamie's.
Quite the little stalker.
How do you want to handle it?
Delicately. How about a game of chess, Jamie?
Why do you want him to play chess?
Well, I hear he's very good.
I can't stay here.
Just one game. Then you can go. Why do you like chess so much?
Chess is beautiful. Every game starts the same, but they all end up in different places.
Infinite possibilities.
Beautiful.
Do you think Harriet's beautiful? You like her, don't you?
For heaven's sake.
You like her a lot.
Just a schoolboy crush. That's all.
Stop calling it that!
Jamie!
Harriet's special.
So you were angry that Finn was taking Harriet away?
I didn't want Harriet to go.
So you attacked Finn?
I didn't mean to hurt him that bad.
But you did hurt him.
And then I went for help.
Who helped you, Jamie?
I can't tell you.
Why not?
Because I made a promise. And me being here means I've broken it. And if I've broken it, then she'll be hurt.
Your mum's safe, Jamie.
Not Mum. Harriet. Don't you see I'm being watched all the time? Everything I do. Everywhere I go. If I'm here, then Harriet's dead.
Jones.
I'm on my way. Is she okay?
No thanks to your boss. Giving her something to help her sleep.
Stay with her and lock the door.
What? Why?
Just don't leave here until I come back, okay?
Stay here and watch the door, okay?
Hello?
Sir?
You're definitely real, aren't you? I'm not imagining things.
Oh, I'm real, all right. How long have you been down here?
Since the festival. When was that? What, 3-4 months?
Yeah, more or less, yeah.
How's Harriet? Is she okay?
She's doing fine. She's great, yeah. Can you get to this door?
It's locked. And even if it wasn't... It's not gonna happen. You're 10 feet underground. No, I'm not being funny, but this doesn't look like much of a rescue, mate.
I know. Listen.
I can't stop this unless you tell me what you know. Harriet's safe. We have people with her right now. So, you went to get help, remember?
I ran to the roads.
Stop! 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 Stop!
Quick! Harriet was still crying. I tried to stop it, but I couldn't. Told me if I said anything, Harriet was dead. They're supposed to help people.
Who are?
Doctors.
So you found yourself a friend?
Come on, Jones. Mrs. Robson.
There's something you need to know.
Why did Jason Winters kill himself?
Jason was the real brains behind Knight to King, not Alan.
So Alan stole his game?
No. Jason signed the rights over to me the night he took his life.
Why would he do that?
Because he loved me. I'm genuinely sorry about what happened to Jason. I truly am.
It's his sister you should be apologising to.
But he doesn't have a sister. He was brought up in care.
They were split up when they were young, but they kept in touch. Her name is Laura Parr.
My brother is a genius. Built that game single-handed until Wendy Robson stole it from him. She used him and led him on until they signed over the rights.
Why take it out on Finn?
Well, they took my only brother from me, so I took their only son.
So this is about watching her suffer.
That's why I moved here. To find a way to make her pay. To be honest, I'd all but given up. And then Jamie flagged me down and I saw Finn and it just came to me.
Why not just kill Wendy instead?
I'm a doctor, not a murderer.
Edward Stannington and David Farmer might disagree with you there.
Well, it was only a matter of time before Stannington found out I was Jason's sister, and Farmer, well, he was too close to getting Harriet to remember.
Exactly. What are you going to do when Harriet does remember?
Well, Harriet will remain conscious for another few days, then mysteriously relapse. I'll do everything I can, of course, but I'm only human. Make this any harder than it is.
Wait, just think about this. Is this what Jason would want?
I guess we'll never know.
You want to tarnish his memory by doing all this?
I don't buy into all that honouring the memory of the dead stuff.
Then why the chess notation? Why leave parts of his finest game at the crime scenes if it wasn't to honour his memory? He beat a world champion, Laura.
He annihilated him. It was his game.
But nobody's going to remember that now. When they think about Jason, they'll think about what you did.
I'm avenging him.
This isn't revenge. This is grief.
Really? The grief speech?
If Jason was here right now, what would you say to him?
You do know psychology isn't real science, don't you?
Indulge me. What would you say?
All right. I'd say, Jason, why didn't you tell me how you were feeling?
I didn't want to.
Oh, I see what you're doing. You're being Jason now. Yeah, very clever.
I didn't tell you because I knew you'd try to stop me.
Nope, the voice isn't right.
And because, in the end, It was none of your business.
None of my business! I was his sister. Doesn't that matter?
No. Not at the time. I just wanted the pain to stop.
And what about me? What about my pain? Didn't you think about that?
I didn't think about you at all.
Well, you see, that's just like you. Selfish and pig-headed. Why didn't you let me take care of you? I could have helped you.
No. There was nothing you could have done to help me.
I'm a doctor. That's what I do.
There's nothing you could have done.
You don't know that.
There's nothing.
Stop saying that!
There's nothing you could have done. But I'm sorry I didn't let you try.
I'm sorry too. Because look at Miss, I've been...
Young and in love, eh?
Couple of months they've been nagging each other like the rest of us.
So cynical.
Well... She tortured those two for over a year.
She tortured people to keep the memory of her brother alive.
Why not put a plaque on a park bench like everyone else?
Grieving may be universal, but we must express it in our own unique way.
Sigmund Freud.
John Barnaby, 1988, Durham University.
Becoming a dad for the first time is not